Welcome back to the fourth lecture. This is a continuation of binomial theorem for rational index. Okay. So in the previous lecture, we had the proof for this binomial theorem for rational index using a differentiation. Okay. So I'll leave a link in the description. If you are willing to check out the proof, please go back to that video and then continue from here. So in this video, what we are going to do is we are going to discuss binomial theorem for rational index when the index is a negative integer and when the index is in the form of p by q, and then we'll discuss when the x value is replaced with minus x. And main thing we'll do in this lecture is we'll come up with the general formulas and we'll get acquainted to all these four formats, so that whenever we see an expression or an infinite series, we can easily decide whether the index is negative or the index is positive, or it's in the form of p by q, or it's a form of positive x or a negative x, so that we can decompress the infinite series into a function that is in the form of 1 minus x whole power p by q, or 1 plus x whole power p by q, or 1 plus x whole power minus n, or whatever that may be. Okay, so we'll get acquainted with all these general formulas. So that's what we'll do in this lecture. We'll see first how the expansions of all these cases will be, and after that we'll solve one or two questions, and we'll get acquainted with solving the questions also, right? So this is going to be a pretty basic section. So if you do not understand the logic behind it, you definitely need to check out this differentiation proof tutorial. As said, I'll leave the link in the description. So let's start with this video. So in this video, the first thing is binomial theorem for rational index. So as we discussed already in the previous one, for the binomial index, binomial theorem with the rational index, there will be infinite terms, right? So only for the positive integral index, there will be n plus 1 terms. So as we know, these are infinite terms, and if m is a rational number and x is a real number such that the modulus of x is less than 1. So we already discussed the reason behind this in the previous lecture. So mod x less than 1, then only this expansion will be possible, otherwise it will not be possible, right? So the expansion of 1 plus x whole power m will be 1 plus m by 1 factorial into x plus m into m minus 1 by 2 factorial into x square plus and so on, m into m minus 1 and so on, m minus r plus 1 by r factorial into x power r. This will continue up to infinity. So leaving the one aside, all these other terms can be written as a sigma, right? Sigma of r equal to 1 to infinity, m into m minus 1 into m minus 2 and so on, m minus r plus 1 by r factorial into x power r. So this goes like this. So we'll discuss all the cases regarding this. For example, the first case we'll discuss is if the index was a negative integer. Okay, so if m is a negative integer, so m can be written as minus n, for example, where n is a positive integer, right? And modulus of x will always be less than 1 for us to assume this expansion. So 1 plus x whole power, in the place of m it's minus n. So in the previous page expression that we have seen, in that expression we'll substitute m equal to minus n. So in this given expression, in this one we'll substitute m equal to minus n. So when we substitute it, minus n by 1 factorial into x minus n into minus n minus 1 by 2 factorial into x square plus and so on, minus n into minus n minus 1 into minus 2 minus n minus 2 into swan minus n minus r plus 1 divided by r factorial into x power r. So what we observe is minus into, if we take minus from this common, it will be minus of n plus 1, right? So minus into minus, it will be plus n into n plus 1 by 2 factorial into x square plus and so on. In this there are total r terms, 1 2 3 and so on up to r terms. So there will be r minus 1s. If you take all the minus 1s common, so it will be coming outside and it will be forming minus 1 whole power r, and all these terms will be n plus 1, n plus 2, n plus 3 and so on, n plus r minus 1, right, by r factorial into x power r. So if you see this, it can be written as a sigma. So in the sigma they have written n plus r minus 1 cr. So how it will come? So this complete expression can be written in the form of a sigma. So in order for us to write that, if you observe the second expression, the coefficient is n into n plus 1 by 2 factorial, and for the third term the coefficient will be minus of n into n plus 1 into n plus 2 by 3 factorial, right? And for this rth term, the coefficient is n into n plus 1 into n plus 2 and so on up to n plus r minus 1 by r factorial. So if we consider the rth term, right, so you observe the rth term first. It's the biggest number of all of this is n plus r minus 1, and the smallest number of all this is n, because n into n plus 1 into n plus 2 and keeps on increasing up to n plus r minus 1, right? So if you write it in another way, it will be n plus r minus 1 into n plus r minus 2 into and so on, n plus 2 into n plus 1 into n divided by r factorial, right? So if you multiply n minus 1 factorial in the denominator and numerator both, if you multiply n minus 1 factorial in both numerator and denominator, so in the numerator it will be n plus r minus 1 factorial, because until n it was already there, we have multiplied n minus 1 factorial also. So all the terms from n plus r minus 1 to 1, all the terms are multiplied, so it will be n plus r minus 1 factorial in the numerator. In the denominator, if you observe, this n minus 1 factorial can be written as n plus r minus 1 minus r, right? So if you observe this whole expression, it's in the form of n factorial by n minus r factorial into r factorial. It will be nothing but ncr, right? I hope you get it. So in the summation, minus 1 whole power r will be outside. We will not consider the sign of this. So sign will be outside only, minus 1 whole power r. So we leave this aside, and only this term can be written as n plus r minus 1 cr, okay, and this x power r is left as usual, x power r. So this is the expansion of 1 plus x whole power minus n, where n is a where m is a negative integer, that is minus n, right? So we'll move to the next one. Next case, suppose if in the same 1 plus x whole power minus n, if x was a negative term along with the index also, if x, the variable was also a negative. So suppose in place of x, if we keep minus x, this 1 plus x whole power n will become 1 minus x whole power n, right? And in place of x, we will substitute minus x. So already this minus and this minus will multiply to become plus. Here also minus x whole square will be plus x square only. There will be no change in the even terms, like even power, because minus 1 whole power even power will be 1. So there will be no change when the power is even. Only when the power is odd, the negative will be multiplied with this negative and the term will become positive. So in the previous case, you observed that one term is positive, one term is negative, alternatively positive negative are coming. So when you keep x is also minus x, all the terms will become positive signed, okay, and everything else will be common, because n into n plus 1 into n plus 2 into n plus r minus 1, nothing will change, because nothing will change from the previous expression, because we are only keeping x equal to minus x. So here if you see, we have kept x equal to minus x. From this we can write this as minus 1 whole power r into x power r. So minus 1 whole power r into minus 1 whole power r. So minus 1 whole power 2r. So 2r is a even number. So minus 1 whole power even number equal to 1. So these two can be ignored. Only x power r will be remaining and this coefficient will be remaining, right? So that's what we have written here. And already we have seen that this term can be written as n plus r minus 1 cr. So we'll write that and we'll form a summation. The only difference between the previous summation and this summation is there is no 1 minus 1 whole power r in this one. All the terms will be positive signed. All the terms will be positive signed, right? So next one. So in this case, we are considering that the index is a rational index. Until now, we considered that the index is a negative integer. So all the two cases for the negative integer are over. In this case, we are considering it to be a rational number. So m be a positive rational number. That is p by q, where q is not equal to 0 or 1. If q is equal to 1, p by q will become a natural number because there's no denominator, only numerator. So if 3 by 1 is nothing but 3, right? 3 by 0 will be undefined. So anything denominator 0 is undefined because we cannot 0 into anything will not be equal to 3. How much ever number you multiply with 0, it will never be equal to 3. So anything divided by 0 is not defined. Okay. So the p by q values will be when q is not equal to 0 or 1 and modulus x will be less than 1, right? So 1 plus x whole power p by q. Only we saw in the first case 1 plus x whole power m. It will be the same expansion, just in the place of m we'll be substituting p by q, right? So we'll see this. Just in the place of m we'll be having p by q, p by q, p by q into p by q minus 1, p by q into p by q minus 1 into p by q minus 2 and so on, p by q minus r plus 1. Okay, so everything else will be same. So this can be written as p by q into x, right? And this can be again written as p into x by q, right? So we have done the same thing, p by 1 factorial into x by q. And if you do the LCM, it will be p minus q by q, p minus q by q. And then p into p minus q will be in the numerator. Both the q's can be multiplied to give q square, and that can be taken into the x term, x square by q square, that is x square by q square, that is x by q whole square. Here also in the denominators there will be r q's. So it will be q power r. And if you take the LCM, p into p minus q into p minus 2q into and so on, p minus of r minus 1 into q, p minus of r minus 1 into q. So this q power r will be going into this denominator, x by q whole power r, right? And so on up to infinity. So that's that. So this is the expression for 1 plus x whole power p by q. So here we cannot represent in form of NCR because these n and r should be integers only. We cannot use rational numbers like p by q. So you cannot compress this in the form of a sigma. So it will be left like this only. So in place of x, if you take minus x, okay. So in place of x here, we have to substitute minus x. So minus will be taken to the front. It will be minus of p by 1 factorial into x by q. These coefficients will not change, only the sign of the term will change. Here x square. So even if you keep x minus x in the place of x, it will not be changing because minus 1 whole square will be 1 again. So even powers, there will be no change in the sign. Only for the odd powers there will be change in the sign, and there will be alternate positive and negative terms, but all the terms will be the same as 1 plus x whole power p by q. Only the difference between 1 plus x whole power p by q and 1 minus x whole power p by q is that only the alternate terms will be positive and negative in the case of minus x, and all the terms will be positively signed in the case of 1 plus x. Okay. The next. So 1 plus x whole power minus p by q. We considered that p by q is a positive rational number. Okay, so for negative rational numbers it will be 1 plus x whole power minus p by q, right? So in the place of p by q it will be minus p by q. And as we observed in this case, in the case of negative integral, when we kept x equal to minus x, all the numerator terms became n into n plus 1, n into n plus 1 into n plus 2 into n plus r minus 1, like this, right? So the same will be happening, just in the place of n there will be p by q, right? So here p into p plus q into p into p plus q into p plus 2q and so on until p plus r minus 1 into q, right? I hope you can come to the conclusion. Okay, so if you observed all the 4 equations, I'll ask you definitely to write all these 5 to 6 cases on the paper, and then if you observe them closely, 1 minus x whole power p by q and 1 plus x whole power minus p by q have alternatively positive or negative signs, and 1 plus x whole power p by q and 1 minus x whole power minus p by q will have all the positive signs, like the terms, the sign of the terms will be all positive. And if you observe 1 plus x whole power p by q and 1 minus x whole power p by q, in the coefficients the numerators will be in the form of p minus q, p minus 2q and so on, right? But for 1 plus x whole power minus p by q, 1 minus x whole power minus p by q, the p will be followed by p plus q into p plus 2q into and so on. I'll once ask you to write, maybe pause this video and write all the 4 equations, one below another, and then if you compare, you'll get to know the dissimilarities between them. Okay, so the simple thing, like how I remember, I'll tell you. If you see, x has a negative sign and p by q has a positive sign, so positive into negative will be negative, right? Here also x has positive sign, p by q has negative sign, same, positive into negative will be negative. So in both these cases we are getting negative, so they'll have alternatively positive and negative signs. Okay, and in 1 plus x whole power p by q, 1 minus x whole power minus p by q, x coefficient, like x has a sign positive sign, p by q has positive sign, x has negative sign, p by q has negative sign. So positive into positive is positive and negative into negative is also positive. So in this case it's negative into negative, in this case it's positive into positive, so both of them is positive, so they'll all have positive signs. Like this is how the shortcut I remember. Like if you have any other methods you can follow that, but generally this is easy to remember this way, right? And the second one is, if the index is positive, it will be p minus q into p minus 2q. If the index is negative, it will be p plus q into p plus 2q. Like if it's positive here, it's negative here. If it's negative here, it's positive here. Like I don't recommend this, like I don't recommend you remembering all the shortcuts, but when it comes to competitive exams, right, you don't always depend on concept for you to get marks, because it will be time taking. So it's like I advise you to like get to the concept and logic for better understanding of the subject, but like keep these also in mind, like keep the shortcuts, all the shortcuts in mind in case if you want them in a competitive exam. But in the real theory part you just need to focus on the concept only. Okay, then only you'll be able to go to higher levels of study and you can understand them also easily. Like if you don't get the concept and if you only mug up the shortcuts, it will not be useful for you in the future. Okay, so enough of that. Now 1 plus x whole power p by q, we'll need to write a general term. So this is the general term. The r plus 1th term is the general term. P by q into p by q minus 1 into p by q minus 2, p by q minus r minus 1. divided by r factorial into x power r for r greater than or equal to 1. So for r equal to 0, the term will be 1. That is the first term, this one. For r equal to 0, it will be 1. So for all the other terms, this will be the general formula. So until now, we have seen all the possible configurations when the index is a rational number. Right now, we'll solve 1 or 2 questions in each of them so that you can understand more. Okay. So this is a given binomial expansion, right? What they're asking is, they're asking us to find the range of x for which the binomial expansion is valid. And the second is they're asking us to find the general term tr plus 1. So before doing any of these things, this is not in the form of 1 plus x whole power p by q or 1 minus x whole power p by q, because we need to first convert this into this standard form. Okay, for that I'll take 4 common. That will be 4 power 4 by 5 into 1 minus 3x by 4 whole power 4 by 5. So first I'll ignore this for some time and I'll consider 1 minus 3x by 4 whole power 4 by 5. So now when it comes to the first question, so for us finding the range, it should be modulus x is less than or like less than 1 for the binomial expansion to be valid. If the modulus x is greater than 1, this expansion is not valid. So here in place of x, it's minus of 3x by 4 less than 1. So this negative doesn't matter because it's a modulus, it will become, so you can ignore the sign completely, and that means modulus of x is less than 4 by 3. That means minus 4 by 3 less than x less than 4 by 3. So x value should be lying between minus 4 by 3 and plus 4 by 3. So this is the range for which this expression will be valid. Now for the second general term. So tr plus 1 equal to, here it's 4 minus 3x or 4 by 5. So in the place of x, it's minus x. So it's in the form of 1 minus x whole power p by q. So in this, if you remember properly, the coefficients will be in the form of minus q only, p minus q, p minus 2q and so on, p minus of r plus 1 divided by r factorial into minus 1 whole power r into x power r, because in the place of x it's minus x. So minus 1 whole power r will be there extra. So this is the general term. So if you keep p and q, the terms, if you substitute 4 into 4 minus 5 into 4 minus 10 into and so on, 4 minus r plus 1 by r factorial into minus 1 whole power r into, in the place of x we have 3x by 4 minus 3x by 4. That's minus we have already taken as minus 1 whole power r. So you can take 3x by 4 whole power 4 by 5. Suppose in the question, if they provide you the value of r and the value of x, you can easily calculate tr plus 1, right? So we'll finish this sum is coming to the next problem. It's 1 plus x by 2 whole power minus 5. So here the index is minus 5. So they are asking for the first 3 terms. Okay. So first I'll consider this 1 plus x whole power minus n. Okay. I'll write the first 3 terms for this. So first term will obviously be 1, right? So leave it that. So next term should be minus n by 1 factorial into x. Okay. And the next term should be minus n into minus n minus 1 divided by 2 factorial into x square. Now In our given case, minus n equal to minus 5. Okay, and x is substituted by x by 2, right? So the first term will be 1 and the second term will be minus 5 by 1 factorial into x by 2, and the next term will be minus 5 into minus 5 minus 1 divided by 2 factorial into x will be substituted by x by 2 whole square, nothing but 1 comma minus 5x by 2 comma 5 into 6 by 2 into 1 into x square by 4. Okay, and 1 comma minus 5x by 2 comma, and this can be done 3 times, and this 4 will be remaining in the denominator, 15x square by 4. So these are the first 3 terms of this expansion. Suppose they ask for, suppose the 9th term. Okay, so they ask for the 9th term, that means it's 3 8 plus 1. So first we have to write the general formula here. So the general formula will be minus 1 whole power r into n into n plus 1 and so on, n plus r minus 1 by r factorial into x power r. This will be the general formula. So here r is 8, right? So minus 1 power 8 will be 1. So leave it. Next, here it will be n is equal to, here minus n equal to minus 5. So in place of n, it will be 5. So here 5 into 6 into n plus r minus 1 means 5 plus 8 minus 1. That is 13 minus 1, 12. So 5 into 6 into 7 into 8 into 9 into 10 into 11 into 12 divided by 8 factorial into, in place of x we have x by 2. So x by 2 whole power 8. Our value of r is 8. So if we expand 8 factorial, 8 into 7 into 6 into 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. Now 8 8 cancel, 7 7 6 6 5 5. Okay, 4 we can cancel 2 times, 3 we can cancel 3 times, and this 2 and this 2 can cancel up. So finally what will remain is 12 into 11 into 3 divided by 2 power 8 into x power 8. Okay, so this will be remaining. You can simplify after this. So even if they ask for a certain term, like they can ask for 9th term, so t9, or they can ask this is an infinite series, so they cannot ask the last, like the 3rd term from beginning, or 2nd term. Like they can ask terms from the beginning, like they can ask 3rd term from the beginning, but they cannot ask the term from the end, like they used to ask in positive integer index. There will be certain models where they'll ask 3rd term from the ending, or the 3rd term from the last. They cannot ask the last part here. They can ask sometimes the nth term from the beginning. Okay, so for that you have to follow this. You have to write the general formula, and then in places of the n and x and r, you have to substitute according to the given question. And as for the first 3 terms, these are the first 3 terms. And next, this is one of the critical and important models that will be even asked in competitive exams also. So what you need to do is, if you observe this here, or like I told you to write all the 4 cases, right? Like 1 plus x whole power p by q, 1 plus x whole power minus p by q, 1 minus x whole power p by q, and 1 minus x whole power minus p by q. So if you know how to differentiate each of these, you can easily solve these questions. Otherwise you can make silly mistakes in this model, right? So if you observe this, it can be written as 1 plus 2 into 1 by 6 plus, if you take 3 and 3 from this, there will be 3 into 1, 3 into 2, right? So both of these threes, if you send it inside this bracket, it will be 2 into 5 by 1 into 2 into 1 by 6 factorial. Sorry, 6, 1 by 6 whole square, plus here also 3 into 1, 3 into 2, 3 into 3. If you take these threes and 1, 2, 3 will be remaining here, all the threes can be inside this bracket, so it will be 1 by 6 whole cube. So 2 into 5 into 8 by 1 into 2 into 3, 1 by 6 whole cube, right? Plus and so on up to infinity. Now if you observe this, you can observe it's in one of these 4 forms, right? We need to determine which form it is in. So here we need to determine the values of p, q and r. So if you observe these expressions carefully, if the p value is 2, then p plus q is 5, so q value will be 3, because here p plus q is 5. So we already know these two values. Now we'll have to determine only the x value. So if you look at the first term should be in the form of p by q into x, but it's in the form of 2 by 6. So already we know the value of p and q. So 2 by 3 into x looks in the form of 2 by 6. So the value of x should be 1 by 2, right? Now this is our given form. This this is the form we concluded this expression will be. So it can be written as 1 minus 1 by 2 whole power minus 2 by 3, correct? So it's 1 by 2 whole power minus 2 by 3, which is nothing but 2 power 2 by 3, which is cube root of 4. So this is how this can be solved. So coming to this model. So if you observe in this model, you can observe that the first and second term are missing. So we'll take care of that when we are solving the question, okay? So we'll consider this to be S, which is 3 into 5 by 5 into 10 plus 3 into 5 into 7 by 5 into 10 into 15 plus 3 into 5 into 7 into 9 by 5 into 10 into 15 into 20 plus and so on up to infinity, right? So first let us try to observe this. Now if you write this first term in this form, 3 into 5 by 1 into 2 into 1 by 5 whole square, okay? And if you write the second term like this, 3 into 5 into 7 by 1 into 2 into 3 into 1 by 5 whole cube, okay? And the similarly 3 into 5 into 7 into 9 by 1 into 2 into 3 into 4 by 1 by 5 whole power 4 plus and so on up to infinity. So by this, if you are able to guess, value of p will be 3. The value of p plus q is 5. That means the value of q will be 2. Okay, and this is the third term, right? So it should be like p into p plus q by r factorial into x power r, x by q whole power r. So this is how the general term will be. Okay, so now if we compare these two terms, 3 into 5 by 1 into 2 1 by 5 whole square. Now we already know the values of p and q, right? So if you substitute 3 into 5 by 2 factorial into x by 2 whole square, so this should be equal to this. If you compare both of these, we'll get to know that the value of x is 2 by 5. So we know that the value of p is 3, value of q is 2, and value of x is 2 by 5. Now if you observe this, all the terms are positive, right? So there are only two chances for this. It should either be 1 plus x whole power p by q format, or 1 minus x whole power minus p by q format. Okay. So out of these two, the further we can conclude when we observe these coefficients, right? So it's in the form of p into p plus q. It will only come when the index is negative. So this positive case can also be cancelled because here the index is positive. The coefficient should be coming as p into p minus q into p minus 2q, something like this. But here we are getting p into p plus q into p plus 2q. So it will be this option. So this is our like this is the one we concluded this infinite series is looking like. So we already know the value of x, p and q, but the only thing, the problem here is this expression is not complete. The first term and second term are missing. So if you write them also, so here expression is s equal to 3 by 5 into 5 by 10 plus 3 into 5 into 7 by 5 into 10 into 15 plus and so on up to infinity, right? So we already came to know that it will be in the form of 1 minus x whole power minus p by q when the value of p is equal to 3, q is equal to 2 and x equal to 2 by 5. So only the first and second term are missing. The first term will be 1 always. The second term will be p by q into x. That is, in our case, 3 by 2 into x is 2 by 5. So it will be 3 by 5. So we'll add these two terms on the both sides. So if you add these two terms both on left and right hand side, 1 plus 3 by 5 plus s equal to 1 plus 3 by 5 plus 3 into 5 by 5 into 10 plus 3 into 5 into 7 by 5 into 10 into 15 plus and so on up to infinity. So this left hand side can be completely converted to this expansion. So 1 minus 2 by 5 whole power minus 3 by 2. So it will be 3 by 5 whole power minus 3 by 2. That's nothing but 5 by 3 whole power 3 by 2. That's nothing but square root of 125 by square root of 27, which is equal to 5 root 5 by 3 root 3. Okay, so this is the answer for this infinite series. So 1 plus 3 by 5 plus s equal to 5 root 5 by 3 root 3. So the value of s will be 5 root 5 by 3 root 3 minus 1 minus 3 by 5. So this will be the final answer. Okay. So in this we have covered the binomial theorem for rational index basically, like only basics we have covered. So in the next lecture I'll try to solve some 6 to 7 questions of previous JEE mains and MSET so that you can understand and observe the level of questions that are coming in those examinations. After that we'll go into approximations using binomial theorem. Okay, so thank you.